Hello, friend. Come, sit here by the fire with me. I know you didn't plan to be here tonight. I know you were trying to sleep, trying to rest, trying to quiet that noise in your head that just won't stop. But here you are, and I'm glad you came. I really am. You look exhausted. I can see it. Not just tired, exhausted. There's a difference, isn't there? Tired is when your body needs sleep. Exhausted is when you've been fighting your own mind for so long that everything hurts. Your chest, your shoulders. That spot right between your shoulder blades that's been tight for how long now? Days? Weeks? You've stopped counting. Come closer to the fire. The night air up here in the mountains gets cold this time of night. Can you feel it? That crisp, clean cold that makes you want to pull your blanket tighter. But the fire is warm. Listen to it crackle. Watch how the flames move. Never still. Always dancing. Always reaching upward. There's something honest about fire, isn't there? It doesn't pretend to be anything other than what it is. I want you to know something right away, before we go any further. You don't have to fix yourself before sitting here with me. You don't have to calm down first. You don't have to get your thoughts in order, or take a few deep breaths, or pull yourself together. You can come exactly as you are. Heart racing, thoughts spinning, chest tight. That's okay. That's more than okay. I want you here exactly as you are right now. I know what brought you here tonight. It's that feeling, isn't it? That feeling like something is wrong, like something bad is about to happen. You can't name it exactly. You can't point to it and say, this is the problem. But it's there. It's been there all day. Maybe longer. That vague sense of dread that colours everything. That makes your stomach tight and your breath shallow and your mind race through scenario after scenario of things that could go wrong. The what ifs. Oh, the what ifs. They're relentless, aren't they? What if this happens? What if that goes wrong? What if I can't handle it? What if it's worse than I think? What if? Each question spawning 3 more questions, each worry branching into a dozen new worries, until you're not even sure what you're anxious about anymore. You're just anxious. It's become a state of being rather than a response to something specific. And the exhausting part? You know it doesn't make sense. You know, logically, that most of what you're worried about will never happen. You know that worrying doesn't prevent bad things or prepare you for them or protect you in any way. You know all of that. But knowing doesn't stop it, does it? If anything, knowing that your anxiety is irrational just adds another layer. Now you're anxious about being anxious. Now you're worried about the fact that you can't stop worrying. I see you. I see the way you've been holding your breath without realizing it. The way you keep tensing your jaw. The way your shoulders are up around your ears. The way you're sitting right now, even here by this fire with me. Like you're braced for impact. Like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like you can't fully settle, because settling means letting your guard down, and letting your guard down feels dangerous. But listen to the sounds up here. Can you hear them? The fire crackling, the wind moving through the pine trees. It's a different sound than wind through other trees. Pines whisper. They don't rustle like oak leaves or flutter like aspens. They whisper, like they're sharing secrets with the night. And there, did you hear that? An owl, far off in the distance, calling to another owl. Or maybe just calling to the darkness, announcing its presence to the vast, quiet world. We're high up here, these mountains. Can you feel it? The air is thinner, cleaner. It smells like pine and wood smoke and stone. During the day, you can see for miles from up here. Valley after valley rolling away into the distance. But now, at night, all you can see is what the firelight touches. These rocks around us, the nearest trees, the ground at our feet. And above, look up. Look at those stars. You don't see stars like this in most places. Too much light down in the valleys. Too much brightness washing out the darkness. But up here, the darkness is complete. And when darkness is complete, the stars can finally show you what they really are. Thousands of them, millions of them, more than you could ever count. They've been there all along, you know, even when you couldn't see them, even on the brightest day, even through the clouds, always there, always burning, always present. Your anxiety feels like the biggest thing in the world right now, doesn't it? It feels like it fills everything, like there's no room for anything else, like it's the loudest voice, the strongest force, the most undeniable reality of your existence in this moment. And I'm not going to tell you that it's small or insignificant or that you're making too big a deal of it. I'm not going to minimize what you're feeling, but I am going to tell you this. It's not the only thing. It's not the truest thing, and it's not the final thing. You came up here tonight because you couldn't stay where you were, couldn't keep lying in that bed, couldn't keep staring at that ceiling, couldn't keep fighting those thoughts alone in the dark. Something in you knew you needed what? Help? Company? Perspective? Maybe you didn't even know what you needed. You just knew you needed something different than what you had. And that knowing, that reaching, that getting up and coming here even though you're exhausted and anxious and everything feels hard, that took courage. More courage than you probably give yourself credit for. I want to tell you something about anxiety, something important, something that might surprise you. Your anxiety is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's not a character flaw. It's not a spiritual failure. It's not evidence that you don't trust me enough or pray enough or have enough faith. Your anxiety is not a sin. Let me say that again, because I know you've wondered. I know you've felt guilty about feeling this way. Your anxiety is not a sin. Anxiety is what happens when a human nervous system, designed to protect you from danger, gets a little too good at its job. It's what happens when your brain, which I designed to watch for threats and keep you safe, starts seeing threats everywhere, even where there are none. It's what happens when the alarm system gets so sensitive that it goes off at shadows. Not because you're broken, not because you're failing, but because you're human, living in a world that was never meant to be this overwhelming, processing amounts of information and stress and stimulation that no human in history ever had to process before. And yes, I know what it feels like. I was human too, fully human. I had a nervous system, I had adrenaline, I had stress hormones, I had sleepless nights and tight chest and racing thoughts. Do you think the Garden of Gethsemane was peaceful for me? Do you think my body was calm when I knew what was coming? I sweat drops like blood. My heart pounded so hard I thought it might break. I asked 3 times if there was any other way, any other path, any escape from what I was facing. I know what it's like when your body is screaming danger and you can't shut it off. I know what it's like when fear has a physical grip on you. When anxiety isn't just a thought but a sensation, a presence, a force that seems bigger than your ability to manage it. I know. And I'm not disappointed in you for feeling it. I'm not frustrated with you. I'm not checking my watch waiting for you to get it together. I'm sitting here with you, tending this fire, keeping watch with you in your anxious night. You know what I love about fires? They have to be fed. You can't light a fire and then forget about it. It demands attention. It requires care. You have to add wood at the right time, adjust the logs, make sure there's enough airflow but not so much that it blows out. A fire is work. Beautiful work, but work. And yet, there's something deeply comforting about tending a fire. Something primal. Something that reaches back to the earliest humans who first learned to keep the darkness at bay with light and warmth. Your anxiety right now is demanding attention too. It's loud, insistent. It wants you to do something, fix something, figure something out. It's like an alarm that won't stop ringing. And you've been trying to turn it off, haven't you? You've been trying so hard, trying to think your way out of it, trying to reason with it, trying to distract yourself from it, trying to pray it away or meditate it away or breathe it away. And sometimes those things help. Sometimes. But tonight they haven't, have they? Tonight it's still there, still loud, still demanding. What if, just for now, just here by this fire, you stop trying to turn it off? What if you just let it be there? Not because it's good or right or healthy. Not because I want you to stay anxious, but because fighting it takes so much energy, and you're already so tired. What if you just acknowledged it? Yes, I feel anxious right now. Yes, my chest is tight, and my thoughts are racing, and my body is on high alert. Yes, all of that is happening. And then, what if you just sat here anyway, anxious and all, not trying to fix it, not trying to make it go away, just sitting here with me, watching the fire, listening to the wind in the pines, existing in this moment exactly as you are. I'm not saying anxiety is something to embrace or celebrate. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's here, right now. It's part of your current reality. And you don't have to resolve it before you can rest. You don't have to have peace before you can receive peace. You don't have to calm yourself before you can let me calm you. You can be a mess. You can be falling apart. You can be barely holding it together. And you can still be held. Look at the fire again. See how it's never the same twice. Every moment it's different. New flames, new patterns, new dances of light and shadow. It's constantly changing. Yet it's still the same fire, still providing the same warmth, still pushing back the same darkness. Your anxiety is changing too. Even now, it's not exactly the same as it was 5 minutes ago. It won't be exactly the same 5 minutes from now. It feels permanent. It feels like it will never end. But it's changing, shifting, moving through you like weather moves through the sky. You've had anxious nights before, many of them. I know you have, and you've made it through every single one. Everyone. You're still here, still breathing, still showing up, still reaching for hope, even when hope feels far away. That's not nothing. That's everything. That's the quiet, stubborn strength that anxiety tries to convince you that you don't have. But you do have it. You're demonstrating it right now. By being here. By not giving up. By sitting with me even though sitting still feels almost impossible right now. Can I tell you what I see when I look at you? I don't see weakness. I don't see failure. I don't see someone who should be better or stronger or more faithful by now. I see someone who's been carrying something heavy. Someone who's been fighting a battle that most people don't understand. Someone who's exhausted not because they're lazy, but because they've been working so hard just to function, just to get through each day, just to keep going when everything in them wants to shut down. I see courage. Real courage. Not the courage that looks good on the outside. Not the courage that gets applause. But the courage that gets up in the morning when anxiety says stay in bed. The courage that goes to work when anxiety says you can't do this. The courage that reaches out to people when anxiety says they don't really care. The courage that keeps trying when anxiety says nothing will ever get better. That's the courage I see in you. And it's beautiful. Your anxiety has been lying to you. It's been telling you that you're weak, that you're broken, that everyone else has it together, and you're the only one falling apart. That if people really knew what goes on in your head, they'd be disappointed, shocked. They'd think less of you. That lie is so convincing, isn't it? It feels so true. But it's not. It's not true at all. Everyone is carrying something. Everyone is fighting battles you can't see. Everyone has moments, hours, days where they feel like they're barely holding it together. The difference isn't that some people don't struggle. The difference is that some people have learned to be honest about it, to stop performing strength they don't feel, to stop pretending they have answers they don't have. And that honesty, that vulnerability, that willingness to say, I'm not okay right now, that's not weakness, that's wisdom. You know what I loved about the people who came to me when I walked the earth? The ones who found real healing, real peace. It wasn't the ones who had it all together. It wasn't the ones who impressed everyone with their knowledge or their righteousness or their performance. It was the desperate ones, the broken ones, the ones who came to me because they had nowhere else to go. The ones who said, "I'm drowning and I need help." Those were the ones who found what they were looking for. There's something about the end of your rope that makes you reach for mine. There's something about the moment when you stop trying to save yourself that makes space for me to save you. And yes, I know that sounds like I'm saying you have to hit rock bottom before I can help you. That's not what I mean. I'm here long before rock bottom. I'm here in the shallow end too. I'm here in the middle. I'm here at every point of the journey. But sometimes, when you're used to being strong, used to handling things, used to figuring it out on your own, sometimes you don't notice me until you can't do it on your own anymore. And maybe that's where you are tonight. Maybe you've tried everything you know how to try. Maybe you've exhausted your own resources. Maybe you've come to the end of what you can do in your own strength. And maybe, just maybe, that's not the disaster it feels like. Maybe that's exactly where I can meet you most fully. Not because I want you to suffer, not because I enjoy watching you struggle, but because when your hands are finally empty, they're finally open to receive what I've been offering all along. The wind just shifted. Did you feel it? The smoke from the fire moved. It was blowing one direction and now it's blowing another. The wind does what it wants up here in the mountains. It follows the contours of the valleys. It flows around the peaks. It changes, direction without warning. You can't control it, can't predict it, can't command it to blow where you want it to blow. You can only notice it, feel it, accept it, adjust to it. Your anxiety is not the wind, but your relationship with it might need to be like your relationship with the wind. You can't control it, can't always predict when it will come or how strong it will be or how long it will last. You can't command it to stop. Believe me, I know you've tried, but you can notice it. You can feel it without being destroyed by it. You can accept that it's here right now without accepting that it will be here forever. You can adjust. You can be flexible. You can bend without breaking. The pines do that. These trees all around us, they're flexible. When the wind blows hard, they bend, they sway, they move with it. And because they move with it, they don't break. The rigid tree, the inflexible tree, that's the tree that snaps in the storm. But the tree that has learned to bend, to flow, to move with what comes, that tree survives, that tree endures, that tree is still standing when the storm passes. I'm not asking you to be okay with anxiety. I'm not asking you to like it or want it or think it's good. I'm asking you to stop fighting it like it's an enemy that you have to defeat before you can have peace. What if peace isn't on the other side of winning the battle with anxiety? What if peace is available right now, right here, even while anxiety is still present? What if you could feel anxious and held at the same time? What if you could have a racing heart and a quiet spirit simultaneously? What if they could coexist? I know that sounds impossible. I know your anxiety tells you that you can't rest until it goes away, that you can't be okay until you feel okay, that you have to fix this, solve this, overcome this before you can have any peace. But that's the trap. That's the cycle that keeps you spinning. Because the more you fight anxiety, the more power you give it. The more you focus on making it go away, the bigger it becomes. It's like quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. What breaks the cycle is surrender. Not surrender to the anxiety. Surrender to me. Surrender to this moment. Surrender to the truth that you don't have to have it all figured out right now. That you don't have to fix yourself. That you don't have to earn your way into peace. That peace is not a prize for the calm. It's a gift for the desperate. And you, my dear, weary, anxious friend, you qualify. Look at me. Right now. Look at my face in this firelight. Do you see disappointment? Do you see frustration? Do you see me wishing you were different, better, stronger, less anxious? No. You see love. Steady, unchanging, unshakable love. Love that isn't dependent on your performance. Love that doesn't fluctuate with your feelings. Love that doesn't diminish when you struggle. Love that is here, constant, like these mountains, like these stars, like this fire that I'm tending while you sit here trying to remember how to breathe. I'm going to stay here with you, all night if you need me to. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to get tired of you. I'm not going to run out of patience. I'm not checking my watch or thinking about other things I could be doing. This, right here, sitting with you in your anxiety. This is what I want to be doing. This is not a burden to me. You are not a burden to me. Your anxiety does not make you too much. Your struggle does not make you too complicated. Your need does not make you too needy. The fire needs another log. Watch. See how I place it carefully? Not too much at once, or it will smother the flames. Not too little, or the fire will die. Just what's needed. Just what the fire can handle right now. That's how I work with you too. Not more than you can bear. Not demands that will crush you. Just what you need. Just what you can handle. One moment at a time. One breath at a time. One small step at a time. You don't have to figure out tomorrow tonight. You don't have to solve all your problems before you sleep. You don't have to know how you're going to handle everything that's coming. You just have to be here. Right now. In this moment. By this fire. With me. That's all. That's enough. You are enough. This moment is enough. My presence is enough. The night is long, but I'm here for all of it. The night is dark, but I've brought light. The night is cold, but there's warmth here by this fire. And you don't have to face it alone. Not tonight. Not ever. Your anxiety might be loud, but my voice is louder. Your fear might be strong, but my love is stronger. Your worry might be persistent, but my presence is more persistent. Breathe with me. Not to make the anxiety go away, not as a technique to fix yourself, just to remind yourself that you're here, that you're alive, that you're breathing, that you can take in air and release it, that your body knows how to do this even when your mind is chaos. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Slow, easy, no pressure, no performance, just breathing, just being, just existing in this moment with me. There. That's good. You're doing so well, better than you think, stronger than you feel, more capable than your anxiety wants you to believe. And even if you don't feel any of that right now, even if you still feel like you're falling apart, that's okay too. You can fall apart here. You can come undone. You can stop holding it. Together. Because I'm holding you together. And I'm not letting go. I want to tell you a story. A true story. Something that happened to me. And I'm telling you this because I think you'll understand it in a way that maybe others don't. Because you know what it feels like when the storm is both outside and inside at the same time. It was late afternoon when we got into the boat, the Sea of Galilee. If you've never seen it, it's beautiful. Deep blue water surrounded by hills. On a calm day, it's like glass. Perfect, peaceful. You can see the reflection of the sky and clouds so clearly that it's hard to tell where the water ends and the sky begins. And that afternoon, when we pushed off from shore, it was one of those days. Calm, beautiful, perfect sailing weather. I was exhausted. I need you to understand that. I was fully human. Fully. And that day had been long. So long. Crowds of people pressing in from every side. Everyone wanting something. Everyone needing something. Healing. Teaching. Answers. Touch. Attention. I gave everything I had. Everything. And by the time we got into that boat, I was done. Completely spent. The kind of tired where your bones ache. Where your mind is foggy. where all you want is to close your eyes and let the world disappear for a while. So I found a spot in the back of the boat, the stern. There was a cushion there, probably used for sitting, but I laid my head on it. The wooden hull of the boat beneath me, the gentle rocking of the waves, the sound of water against wood, the voices of my disciples chatting as they handled the sails. It was soothing, rhythmic, and I was so tired that I fell asleep almost immediately. Deep sleep, the kind of sleep where you're gone, where the world fades away completely. But the disciples, they were awake, alert, managing the boat. And I want you to imagine what they were seeing, what they were experiencing, because this is where the story becomes yours too. The wind changed, suddenly, violently. On the Sea of Galilee, this happens. The sea is in a basin surrounded by hills and mountains. Wind comes down through the valleys and across the water with no warning. One moment it's calm, the next moment it's chaos. And that's what happened. The wind came screaming across the water. Not a breeze, not a gust, a roar, a force, something wild and uncontrollable. The waves started immediately, small at first, then bigger, then massive. Waves that lifted the boat and dropped it. Waves that crashed over the sides. Waves that filled the boat with water faster than they could bail it out. And the disciples. These were experienced fishermen. Peter, Andrew, James, John. They'd been on this sea their whole lives. They knew boats. They knew storms. They knew water. But this storm, this was different. This was beyond their experience, beyond their skill, beyond their ability to manage. And here's what I want you to understand. Here's where their experience mirrors yours. It wasn't just the external storm that was the problem. It was the internal one. Because the moment that wind hit, the moment those waves started crashing, something else started too. The thoughts, the catastrophic thoughts, the what ifs, the spiral. Peter was thinking, we're going to capsize. We're going to die out here. Why did we leave shore? Why didn't we wait? This is it. This is how it ends. Andrew was thinking, the boat can't handle this. It's too much. We're taking on too much water. We can't bail fast. Enough. We're going down. We're going down, and there's nothing we can do about it. James was thinking, why is this happening? What did we do wrong? Is this punishment? Is God angry? Have we made some terrible mistake? John was thinking, I'm not ready to die. I'm not ready. There's so much I haven't done. So much I haven't said. This can't be happening. This can't be real. And all of them, every single one of them, had the same physical sensations you know so well. Hearts pounding, hands shaking, chests tight, breath shallow and fast, adrenaline flooding their systems, fight or flight response activated. But there was nowhere to fight and nowhere to flee. Just a boat in the middle of a raging sea. Just them and the storm and their spiraling thoughts and their racing hearts. They were bailing water, frantically, desperately. But it wasn't working. For every bucket they threw overboard, 2 more crashed in. They were losing. They were going to lose. And they knew it. That knowing. That certainty of impending disaster. That's what anxiety does, isn't it? It convinces you that the worst is not only possible, but inevitable. Not this might happen, but this is happening. This is definitely happening, and I can't stop it. They were shouting, over the wind, over the waves, over the sound of the storm, shouting instructions to each other, shouting in fear, shouting in panic. And their voices were getting more desperate with each wave, more frantic, more convinced that this was the end. And through all of this, I was asleep, still asleep. Not because I didn't care, not because their fear didn't matter, but because in my Father's presence there was peace, even in the storm, even with the wind howling and the waves crashing. even with the boat filling with water. Peace. The kind of peace that transcends circumstances. The kind of peace that isn't dependent on calm external conditions. The kind of peace that holds steady even when everything around it is chaos. But they didn't have that peace yet. They were in the storm, both the external storm and the internal one. And finally, when they couldn't take it anymore, when they were certain they were about to die, they came to the back of the boat, to where I was sleeping. And they shook me awake, roughly, desperately. "Teacher, don't you care that we're going to drown?" I want you to hear that question, really hear it. Because maybe it's your question too. Don't you care? Don't you see what's happening? Don't you see how bad this is? Don't you see that I'm drowning? Don't you see that I can't handle this? Don't you care? It's the question that comes when anxiety has convinced you that you're alone in the storm, that God is asleep, that he's not paying attention, that he doesn't see, that he doesn't care, that you're going to go under and he's just sleeping, peaceful, undisturbed, while you fight for your life. I opened my eyes, and I saw them, soaking wet, eyes wide with terror, hands gripping whatever they could hold on to, bodies braced against the rocking of the boat, faces white with fear. These men I loved, these friends, these followers who'd given up everything to be with me. And they thought they were about to die. They really believed it. It wasn't just fear, it was certainty. They'd moved past what if into this is it. I stood up, water sloshing around my ankles, the boat pitching violently, the wind so loud that speaking at normal volume would be impossible. And I looked at the storm, really looked at it. The waves, the wind, the chaos, the fury, all of it. And I spoke, not to the disciples, to the storm. Peace, be still. 3 words, that's all, 3 words. But they carried all the authority of heaven, all the power of the one who spoke the universe into existence, all the command of the Creator over his creation. And the response was immediate. Not gradual, immediate. The wind stopped, not died down, stopped. Like someone flipped a switch. Like someone cut the power, just stopped. And the waves, they didn't slowly calm. They smoothed out instantly, completely, perfectly, as if the storm had never happened. The silence was deafening. After all that noise, all that chaos, all that roaring wind and crashing waves. Silence, complete silence. Even the disciples stopped shouting, stopped moving, stopped breathing for a moment. Just stood there, staring, at the water, at the sky, at me, trying to process what just happened, trying to understand what they'd just witnessed. And in that silence I turned to them. These terrified, soaking, wet, traumatized men. And I asked them a question, not to shame them, not to condemn them, but to invite them into something deeper, something they hadn't grasped yet. Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith? Now, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds harsh. That sounds like I was criticizing them for being afraid, like I was disappointed in them for their fear. But that's not what I was doing. I was asking them to look beneath the fear, to see what the fear was revealing, to understand that their storm wasn't just the wind and waves. Their storm was the belief that they were alone in it, that it was bigger than me, that it could take them somewhere I couldn't reach them. They were afraid because they forgot who was in the boat with them. Not because they didn't know intellectually. They knew I was there, obviously. They just woke me up. But knowing and knowing are 2 different things, aren't you? You can know something in your head and not know it in your body, not know it in your gut, not know it in the moment when the waves are crashing and your heart is racing and your thoughts are spiraling. They knew I had power. They'd seen me heal people. They'd seen me teach with authority. They'd seen me do things that shouldn't be possible. But they didn't know yet that my power extended over nature itself, over wind, over waves, over storms. They didn't know yet that nothing is outside my reach. Nothing is beyond my control. Nothing is bigger than me. And they especially didn't know that I could speak peace into chaos, that I could take what was wild and violent and overwhelming and simply say, "Be still," and have it obey. They didn't know that yet, but now they did. Now they'd seen it, experienced it, lived through it, and it changed them forever. They would never forget the night the storm obeyed my voice. But here's what I want you to understand. Here's why I'm telling you this story. I didn't just speak to the external storm that night. I spoke to their internal storm too. When I said, "Peace, be still," I wasn't only commanding the wind and waves. I was commanding the fear, the panic, the anxiety, the catastrophic thoughts, the racing hearts. All of it. Peace, be still. And that's what I'm speaking to you tonight, right now, by this fire, under these stars, in this mountain air. I'm speaking to your storm, both the external circumstances that feel overwhelming and the internal experience of anxiety that feels bigger than you can handle. Peace, be still. Now, I need to be honest with you about something. When I spoke to the sea, it obeyed immediately, completely, instantly. When I speak to your anxiety, the response might not be that immediate. Not because I have less power over your internal storm than I did over that external one, but because you're not wind and waves. You're a person with a nervous system, with thought patterns, with a brain that's been wired by experience and trauma and stress and 1,000 other things. You're complex, beautifully, wonderfully, frustratingly complex. So when I speak peace over you, it might not feel instant. You might still feel the anxiety, still feel the racing heart, still feel the tight chest, still have the spiraling thoughts. And that might make you think it didn't work, that my peace isn't real, that you're the exception, the one person who's too broken, too anxious, too far gone for my words to reach. But that's not true, not even a little bit. Here's what's actually happening. When I speak peace, it goes deep, deeper than your feelings, deeper than your symptoms, deeper than your circumstances. It goes to the core of who you are, to your spirit, to that place in you that's connected to me. And at that level, in that place, there is peace. Real peace, unshakable peace. Peace that doesn't depend on your anxiety going away. Peace that can coexist with anxiety. Peace that holds you even when you feel like you're falling apart. The disciples had to learn this too. That night wasn't the last storm they faced. It wasn't the last time they were afraid. It wasn't the last time they questioned whether they were going to make it. But it changed something in them. It gave them a reference point, a memory, a moment they could return to in their minds when the next storm came. And they could say, "He spoke peace before. He can speak peace again. He was powerful enough then. He's powerful enough now. He was in the boat with us then. He's in the boat with us now." And that's what I'm giving you tonight. A reference point, a moment. This conversation by this fire, this mountain, these stars, this story. When your anxiety comes back, and it probably will, you can remember this. You can remember that I spoke to the storm, that I have authority over chaos, that I can say peace, be still, and mean it. That I'm not intimidated by your anxiety, not overwhelmed by it, not unsure how to handle it. I've handled worse. I've calmed literal storms. I can certainly handle the storm in your mind and heart. But I want to go deeper, because there's something else about that night on the sea. Something the disciples didn't fully understand until much later. I asked them, "Why are you so afraid?" And the question beneath that question was this: what are you really afraid of? Because the surface answer was obvious. They were afraid of drowning, afraid of dying, afraid of the boat sinking and the waves pulling them under and their lives ending in that dark water. That's what they would have said if I'd asked them to name their fear. But the deeper fear, the real fear, was abandonment. It was the fear that they were alone, that I was with them, but not really with them, present, but not present, there, but asleep, available, but unavailable. And isn't that your fear too? Not just that bad things might happen, not just that you might not be able to handle what's coming, but that you might have to handle it alone, that God might be asleep while you're drowning, that you might cry out and get no response, that you might be in the storm and he might be somewhere else. That's the fear beneath the fear, the anxiety beneath the anxiety, abandonment, aloneness, the terror of facing the worst without the one who promised to never leave you. I get it. I really do. Because I felt that too. On the cross. In that moment when I cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? I felt abandonment. True, complete, absolute abandonment. The Father turned his face away. The presence I'd known every moment of my existence was gone. And it was agony. Not just physical agony, though that was terrible, but spiritual agony. The agony of being alone, of being cut off, of being abandoned in the moment of greatest need. I experienced that so you would never have to. I went through that abandonment so that you could have the promise. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you, no matter how alone you feel, no matter how silent heaven seems, no matter how much it seems like I'm asleep or distant or unaware. I'm not. I'm here. I'm present. I'm awake. I'm aware. I'm engaged. I'm in the boat with you, and I'm not going anywhere. The disciples thought I didn't care because I was sleeping, but I cared so much that I was confident enough to sleep. Does that make sense? My rest wasn't indifference. My rest was faith. Faith in my Father. Faith that he held that boat. Faith that the storm wasn't outside his control. Faith that we weren't going to drown because we weren't supposed to drown. Not that night. Not in that storm. There was more to the story. More to accomplish. More life to live. And I knew that. So I could rest. And I'm inviting you into that same rest. Not the rest that comes from having no storms. Not the rest that comes from perfect circumstances. Not the rest that comes from anxiety disappearing. But the rest that comes from trust. The rest that comes from knowing I'm in the boat with you. The rest that comes from believing that I'm bigger than whatever storm you're facing. The rest that comes from confidence that I see you, I'm with you, and I'm not letting this boat go down. Your anxiety is real. The storm is real. The waves are real. The wind is real. I'm not minimizing any of that, but I'm bigger than all of it. And I'm not just observing from a distance. I'm in the boat, right here with you, feeling the same rocking, getting hit by the same waves, present in the same storm. The difference is that I know how this story ends. I know we're going to make it to the other side. I know the storm will pass. I know the morning will come. I know peace is possible, even here, even now, even in this. So let me speak to your storm. Let me address the wind and waves of your circumstances. Let me command the chaos of your thoughts. Let me calm the pounding of your heart. Not because you've earned it, not because you've been calm enough or faithful enough or strong enough, but because I love you, because you're mine, because I'm here, and because I can. Peace. Be still. Not as a magic formula, not as a guarantee that every anxiety will instantly disappear, but as a declaration of truth over your life, as a command that carries authority, as a promise that's more real than your fear. The storm obeyed me that night, and your storm will obey me too. Maybe not on your timeline, maybe not in the way you expect, but it will, because I'm speaking peace. And when I speak, things change, hearts change, minds change, Circumstances change, storms change, not always instantly, but eventually, certainly, definitely. What I speak comes to pass. And I'm speaking peace over you. Right now, this moment. Peace. Be still. And it is so. The fire is settling into steady coals now. See how they glow. Deep orange, almost red, pulsing gently with heat. There's a rhythm to it, a breathing of its own. The fire breathes. Did you know that? It takes in oxygen and releases heat and light, in and out. A kind of breathing. Everything breathes. Everything has rhythm, including you. I want to try something with you. Nothing complicated. Nothing you have to master or perform or get right. Just a simple thing. A gentle thing. Because sometimes when anxiety has its grip on you, the simplest things become anchors. Ways to find your way back to this moment, to your body, to the truth that you're here, you're breathing, you're alive, and you're not alone. Breathe with me. That's all. Just breathe. I'll breathe with you. And while we breathe, I'm going to speak some words over you. True words. Words that have been spoken over my people for thousands of years. Words that carry weight, that carry power. Not magic words, but true words. And truth has a way of sinking deeper than anxiety, deeper than fear, deeper than the noise in your mind. Don't worry about doing this. Perfectly. There's no perfect here. Your breath might be shaky. That's okay. Your mind might wander. That's okay. You might feel anxious the whole time. That's okay too. This isn't about making the anxiety go away. This is about giving your body something to do besides brace for disaster. This is about giving your mind words that are truer than the words anxiety is speaking. So let's start simply. Just notice your breath. Don't change it yet. Don't try to control it. Just notice it. Is it shallow? Fast? Caught in your chest? That's where anxiety likes to hold breath, isn't it? Up high, in the chest, quick and shallow, never quite filling the lungs, never quite releasing completely, always ready, always braced, always on alert. Now, gently, see if you can breathe a little deeper, not forcing, not straining, just inviting the breath to go a little lower, into your belly. Let your belly expand as you breathe in. Let it soften as you breathe out. This kind of breathing tells your nervous system something important. It says, we're safe. We can rest. There's no emergency right now. Because when you're in real danger, you don't breathe like this. You breathe fast and shallow. You breathe for action. But when you breathe slow and deep, your body gets the message. We can relax. We can settle. We can be here. Breathe in slowly. Count with me if it helps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it gently for a moment. Not straining, just pausing. And then release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Longer on the exhale than the inhale. That's the key. Longer out than in, because the exhale is where the letting go happens. The exhale is where tension releases, where control loosens, where you give back to the air what the air gave to you. And now, as you breathe, I'm going to give you words. Words to breathe in, words to breathe out. Let them sink in with the oxygen. Let them settle into your cells, into your blood, into your bones. Don't analyze them. Don't figure them out. Just let them be there, like seeds planted in soil. They'll do their work whether you understand how or not. Breathe in. The Lord is my shepherd. Breathe out. I shall not want. Again, breathe in. The Lord is my shepherd. Breathe out. I shall not want. Do you know what that means? I shall not want. Not I won't desire things, but I won't lack. I won't be without what I need. I won't be abandoned. I won't be forgotten. I won't be left to manage this alone. The Yadi, shepherd, is here. The shepherd sees the sheep, knows the sheep, tends the sheep. And you are the sheep. Not because you're mindless or helpless, but because you're cared for, watched over, valued, protected. Breathe in. He makes me lie down. Breathe out. In green pastures. Again. Breathe in. He makes me lie down. Breathe out. In green pastures. Sometimes you have to be made to rest, don't you? Because you won't do it on your own. You'll keep pushing, keep striving, keep forcing yourself forward, even when everything in you is depleted. But I make you lie down, not as punishment, as mercy, as gift, as the kindness of a shepherd who knows that even strong sheep need rest, especially strong sheep, the ones who are used to carrying on, used to managing, used to being okay. Those are the ones who most need to be made to rest. And where do I make you lie down? In green pastures, not in barren places, not in danger, not in scarcity. In green, in abundance, in places where there's enough, more than enough, where you can eat and be satisfied, where you can rest and be restored, where you can simply be without having to produce or perform or prove anything. Breathe in. He leads me beside. Breathe out. Still waters. Again. Breathe in. He leads me beside. Breathe out. Still waters. Still waters. Not raging rivers, not crashing waves, not the storm on the sea. Still waters. Quiet, peaceful, reflective. The kind of water where you can see your own face. Where you can drink without fear. Where you can rest without being swept away. And I lead you there. You don't have to find it yourself. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to figure out how to get there. I lead. You follow. That's the arrangement. That's how this works. Breathe in. He restores. Breathe out. My soul. Again. Breathe in. He restores. Breathe out. My soul. Restoration. Not just rest. Not just a break. But actual restoration. Putting back together what's been broken. Rebuilding what's been depleted. Renewing what's been worn down. Your soul. That deep part of you. That eternal part. That part that anxiety can't actually touch, even though it feels like it's touching everything. I restore that. I make it whole again. I make it strong again. I make it you again. Let's breathe with another truth now. Different words, same rhythm, same gentleness, same invitation to let truth sink deeper than thought. Breathe in. Cast all your anxiety. Breathe out on me. Again. Breathe in. Cast all your anxiety. Breathe out on me. Cast. Not manage carefully. Not control effectively. Not handle on your own. Cast. Throw. Hurl. Give it away. Get it off of you. Put it on me. Because I can carry it. I can handle it. I'm strong enough. Big enough. Capable enough. You're not. And that's okay. You were never meant to carry this. You were meant to give it to me. All your anxiety. Not just the reasonable parts. Not just the parts that make sense. Not just the anxieties that other people would understand. All of it. The big fears and the small fears. The named fears and the nameless ones. The fears about real things and the fears about things that will probably never happen. The fears you're ashamed of and the fears you think are justified. All of it. Every bit. Nothing is too small for my attention. Nothing is too big for my capacity. All of it. Give it all to me. Breathe in. Because I care. Breathe out. For you. Again. Breathe in. Because I care. Breathe out. For you. This is why you can cast your anxiety on me. Not because I'm obligated. Not because it's my job. Not because I have to. Because I care. Genuinely care. Deeply care. Specifically care. For you. Not for humanity in general. Not for everyone in a vague, distant way. For you. Personally. Particularly. Individually. I know your name. I know your story. I know your fears. And I care. That's not just a nice sentiment. That's reality. That's truth. That's the foundation everything else is built on. Let's try another one. This one might feel harder, because it's an invitation to something that feels almost impossible when anxiety has you in its grip. But stay with me. Just let the words be there. Let them do their work. Breathe in. Peace I leave. Breathe out. With you. Again. Breathe in. Peace I leave. Breathe out. With you. These were my words to my disciples. The night before I died. The night before everything fell apart. The night before they scattered and denied and hid and thought it was all over. I told them, peace I leave with you. Present tense. Not future. Not someday you'll have peace. Not when things get better you'll have peace. Now. Present. Current. I leave peace with you. Even in the chaos. Even in the fear. Even in the night before the worst day. Peace. It's yours. It's here. It's available. Breathe in. My peace I give. Breathe out. To you. Again. Breathe in. My peace I give. Breathe out. To you. Not the world's peace. Not the kind of peace that depends on everything going right. Not the kind of peace that evaporates the moment circumstances shift. My peace. The peace I had in the storm. The peace I had in the garden. The peace I had on the cross. The peace that transcends understanding because it doesn't make logical sense. How can you have peace in a storm? How can you have peace before crucifixion? How can you have peace when everything is falling apart? Because it's not based on circumstances. It's based on presence. My presence. And my presence doesn't leave when things get hard. Breathe in. Not as the world gives. Breathe out. Do I give to you? Again. Breathe in. Not as the world gives. Breathe out. Do I give to you? The world gives conditionally. The world gives when you earn it. The world gives when you deserve it. The world gives when circumstances align. The world gives and then takes away when circumstances change. But I don't give like that. I give freely, unconditionally, unchangingly. My gifts don't depend on your performance. They depend on my character, and my character is unchanging. So my peace is unchanging. Even when your anxiety is raging, even when your thoughts are spiraling, even when you feel like you're falling apart, my peace is still there, still real, still yours. Breathe in. Let not your heart. Breathe out. Be troubled. Again. Breathe in. Let not your heart. Breathe out. Be troubled. Let not. It's a choice. Not an easy choice. Not a simple choice. But a choice nonetheless. You can't control whether trouble comes. You can't control whether circumstances are difficult. You can't control whether anxiety shows up. But you can choose what you do with your heart in the midst of it. You can choose whether to let trouble have the final word, whether to let anxiety define your reality, whether to let fear determine your story. Let not, choose not, decide not. It's not about denying what you feel. It's about not letting what you feel be the only truth you acknowledge. Let's breathe with another truth. This one is about tomorrow, about the future, about all those what ifs that keep you awake at night. Breathe in. Do not worry. Breathe out. About tomorrow. Again. Breathe in. Do not worry. Breathe out. About tomorrow. I know what you're thinking. Easier said than done, right? How do you not worry about tomorrow when your mind is already there? When you're already playing out every possible scenario? When you're already catastrophizing about things that haven't happened yet and might never happen? I get it. Believe me, I get it. So let me tell you what this really means. It's not, don't think about tomorrow. It's not, don't plan for tomorrow. It's not, be irresponsible about tomorrow. It's, don't carry tomorrow's weight today. Don't try to solve tomorrow's problems with today's resources. Don't try to handle tomorrow's challenges with today's strength. Don't try to live tomorrow's life in today's moment. You only have grace for today, grace for this moment, grace for this breath, and that grace is sufficient. But it's sufficient for now. Not for now, plus tomorrow, plus next week, plus next year. Just for now. Breathe in. Tomorrow will worry. Breathe out. About itself. Again. Breathe in. Tomorrow will worry. Breathe out. About itself. Tomorrow will have its own concerns, its own challenges, its own needs, but tomorrow will also have its own grace, its own provision, its own strength. When tomorrow becomes today, the grace you need will be there. But you can't access tomorrow's grace today. You can only access today's grace today. And today's grace is enough for today. Let tomorrow worry about itself. Let tomorrow's problems stay in tomorrow. Let tomorrow's fears wait until tomorrow. Be here, now, in this moment, by this fire, with me. Breathe in. Each day has enough. Breathe out. Trouble of its own. Again, breathe in. Each day has enough. Breathe out. Trouble of its own. This might sound discouraging at first. Each day has trouble. Like that's supposed to be comforting. But it is. Because it's honest. I'm not promising you a trouble-free life. I'm not promising you that anxiety will never come back. I'm not promising you that everything will be easy. I'm promising you that each day's trouble is manageable. Each day's challenge is survivable. Each day's burden is carryable. With me, in my strength, with my grace, you can handle today. You really can. You might not be able to handle today plus tomorrow plus next week, but you can handle today. And that's all you're being asked to handle. One more set of words. These are powerful. These are words that have sustained my people through every kind of storm, every kind of anxiety, every kind of fear. Let them breathe through you. Breathe in. God has not given us. Breathe out. A spirit of fear. Again, breathe in. God has not given us. Breathe out. A spirit of fear. This fear you're feeling, this anxiety that's gripping you, it didn't come from me. I didn't give you this. I didn't design you for this. I didn't create you to live in constant dread. This is not my gift to you. This is not my plan for you. This is not what I want for you. Yes, I allow you to walk through it. Yes, I'm with you in it. But it's not from me. It's not of me. It's not my will for your life. Breathe in. But of power, breathe out, and of love. Again, breathe in, but of power, breathe out, and of love. This is what I've given you. Power, not just to endure, not just to survive, but to overcome, to rise, to stand. Real power, my power, the same power that raised Jesus from the dead. That's in you, living in you, available to you, and love, perfect love, unchanging love, relentless love, love that casts out fear, love that holds you when you're falling apart, love that doesn't leave when you're a mess. Power and love, those are your inheritance. Those are your gifts. Those are what I've placed in you. Breathe in, and of a sound mind. Breathe out, and of a sound mind. Again, breathe in, and of a sound mind. Breathe out, and of a sound mind. A sound mind. Even when your thoughts are racing. Even when anxiety is loud. Even when you feel like you're losing it. You have a sound mind. Not because your thoughts are always calm, but because your mind is held by me. Your mind is known by me. Your mind is loved by me. And underneath all the noise, underneath all the chaos, underneath all the anxiety, there is soundness, there is stability, there is truth. And that soundness is not dependent on your ability to think clearly. It's dependent on My ability to hold you steady. Keep breathing, in and out, slow and steady, letting these words sink deeper with each breath. You don't have to remember them all. You don't have to quote them perfectly. They're doing their work, whether you're conscious of it or not. Truth works like that. It doesn't need your permission or your understanding. It just works. Because truth is more real than lies, more solid than fear, more lasting than anxiety. Your breath is steadier now. Can you feel it? Maybe not completely calm, maybe still a little shaky, but steadier, more settled. That's good. That's progress. Not because you did something right, but because you let yourself be here, be present, be held by these words, these truths, this moment, this breath. And that's all you ever have to do. Just be here. Just breathe. Just let me speak truth over the lies anxiety has been whispering. The fire is still glowing, still warm, still here, and so am I. Still here, still speaking, still breathing with you, and we'll keep breathing. Keep speaking truth. Keep sitting in this moment, for as long as you need. There's no rush, no pressure, no timeline. Just breath, just truth, just presence, just us. Here, now, together. I want to tell you about flowers. I know that might seem like a strange thing to talk about when you're dealing with anxiety, when your mind is racing and your chest is tight and you're worried about a dozen different things that could go wrong. Flowers. What do flowers have to do with any of that? But stay with me, because I've been thinking about flowers for a very long time, and I think they have something to teach us, something important. When I was on Earth, walking the dusty roads of Galilee, I used to stop and look at flowers all the time. My disciples probably thought it was strange. We'd be walking somewhere on our way to teach or heal or meet with people, and I'd stop, crouch down, look at a wildflower growing by the side of the path, really look at it, study it, marvel at it, and they'd wait, somewhat impatiently, wondering what I was doing, why I was wasting time looking at a flower when there were people who needed us, important things to do, a mission to accomplish. But I wasn't wasting time. I was learning, remembering, reconnecting with something I'd made. Because I made those flowers, you know. Every petal, every color, every delicate detail. I designed them, spoke them into existence. And sometimes, when I was walking around as a human, tired and dusty and hungry, and fully immersed in the limitations of a physical body, I needed to be reminded, to see what I'd made, to remember who I was, to reconnect with my Father through His creation. There was this one hillside in Galilee in spring, and it was covered with wildflowers, absolutely covered. A carpet of colour rolling down the slope toward the sea. Reds, purples, yellows, whites, hundreds of different species all blooming at the same time, all doing what they were made to do. And I sat there for a long time, just watching them, studying them. And that's when the lesson formed, the one I would later teach, the one about anxiety and worry and trust, the one about lilies. Consider the lilies, I said. How they grow. They don't labour or spin. Yet I tell you, not even Solomon in all his splendour was dressed like one of these. My disciples heard those words. The crowds heard those words. And I think most of them thought I was just making a nice poetic point about God's provision. About how if God takes care of flowers, He'll take care of people too. And that's true. That's part of it. But there's something deeper I was trying to communicate. Something about the nature of anxiety itself, something about why flowers don't worry and what that reveals about what worry actually is. A flower doesn't worry, obviously. A flower doesn't have a mind, doesn't have thoughts, doesn't have a nervous system that can generate anxiety. So in one sense, comparing you to a flower isn't fair. You're infinitely more complex. more conscious, more capable of imagining futures that haven't happened yet and catastrophizing about outcomes that will probably never occur. That's what makes you human. That's what makes you beautiful. That capacity for thought and imagination and foresight. But it's also what makes you vulnerable to anxiety in a way that flowers simply aren't. But here's what I want you to see. Here's what I was really getting at with that teaching. A flower doesn't worry because a flower is completely connected to its source, moment by moment, constantly, without interruption. The roots go down into the soil. They draw up water, nutrients, everything the flower needs to live and grow and bloom. The flower doesn't think about it, doesn't manage it, doesn't strategize about it, doesn't lie awake at night wondering if there will be enough water tomorrow, or if the soil is depleted, or if conditions will change. The flower just receives, constantly, continuously, naturally, and because the flower is connected to its source, it can focus entirely on what it was made to do, which is bloom, grow, display beauty, reproduce, fulfill its purpose. The flower doesn't split its energy between blooming and worrying about whether it will have what it needs to bloom. It just blooms, because it trusts, at a level deeper than thought, that what it needs will be there. Now, you might be thinking, that's because flowers are simple. They don't have bills to pay, or relationships to manage, or jobs to keep, or health concerns, or family problems, or any of the 1,000 real, legitimate things that humans worry about. And you're right. Flowers don't have those things. But you know what flowers do have? Real threats, actual dangers. A flower can be eaten by an animal, crushed by a footstep, withered by drought, frozen by an unexpected cold snap, picked by a passing traveller. A flower's existence is fragile, temporary, vulnerable. The average wildflower blooms for a few weeks at most. Then it's gone, faded, dead, forgotten. And yet, during those few weeks, the flower is glorious, fully itself, completely committed to its purpose, not holding back, not conserving energy for possible future disasters, not half blooming just in case, fully blooming, extravagantly blooming, beautifully blooming, because that's what it was made to do, and it trusts that for as long as it's meant to bloom, it will have what it needs to bloom. When I said, not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these, I meant it. Solomon was the richest, most powerful king Israel ever had. His wealth was legendary. His palace was filled with gold and precious stones and fine fabrics and everything money could buy. He had an entire team of people whose job was to make him look magnificent. And he did. He looked impressive, powerful, rich, important. But you know what he didn't look? At peace. Solomon, for all his wealth and wisdom, was not free from anxiety. He worried. He strategized. He planned and schemed and worked tirelessly to maintain his position and increase his power. His splendor was the result of tremendous effort and constant vigilance. But the flower? The flower's beauty costs it nothing, requires no effort, no anxiety, no management. The flower is beautiful because that's what it is, not because of what it does. And the flower's beauty, in its simplicity and naturalness and ease, surpasses Solomon's splendor. Because Solomon's splendor was about impressing others, about displaying wealth and power, about controlling how people saw him. The flower's beauty is about being fully what it was created to be. Nothing more. Nothing less. Just itself. Completely. And then I said this. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today, and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you, O you of little faith? O you of little faith. Now, I know those words might sting a bit. They might sound like a rebuke. Like, I'm criticizing you for your anxiety, for your worry, for not trusting enough. But that's not the heart of what I'm saying. Little faith doesn't mean no faith. It doesn't mean bad faith. It doesn't mean failed faith. Little faith means underdeveloped faith. Faith that hasn't yet learned what it's capable of. Faith that hasn't yet discovered how trustworthy the one you have faith in actually is. Think about it this way. A child has little faith compared to an adult, not because the child is bad or wrong, but because the child hasn't had time yet to learn, to experience, to see evidence build up over years and decades. The child's faith is small because it's young, but small faith is still real faith. Young faith is still genuine faith. And little faith can grow. That's the whole point. That's what I'm inviting you into. Not condemning you for having little faith, but inviting you to let that faith grow, to let it develop, to let it mature through experience and evidence and seeing over time that I really am trustworthy. So when I say, will he not much more clothe you? I'm not minimizing your concerns. I'm not pretending your life is as simple as a flower's life. I'm saying this. If God pays attention to something as temporary and simple as a wildflower, if he provides for something that exists for a few weeks and then is gone forever, how much more will he pay attention to you? How much more will he provide for you? You who are eternal. You who are made in his image. You who are beloved. You who matter infinitely more than flowers. The question isn't whether you're valuable enough for God's attention. You are. The question is whether you're connected to your source the way the flower is connected to its source. And here's the hard truth. You're not. Not consistently. Not moment by moment. Not naturally. And that's not entirely your fault. You live in a world that constantly disconnects you, that pulls your attention in 1,000 directions, that demands you focus on managing and controlling and figuring everything out yourself. That tells you trust is naive and vigilance is wisdom, and if you're not worried about the future, you're not being responsible. The flower doesn't have those voices, doesn't have that conditioning, doesn't have that culture. The flower just grows. But you have to fight to stay connected. You have to intentionally choose to root yourself in me, to draw from me, to receive from me. Not once, not in a moment of crisis, but continuously, constantly, as a way of life. And that's where worry comes in. Worry is what happens when you disconnect from your source and try to be your own source. When you try to generate your own security, manufacture your own peace, guarantee your own future. And you can't. You were never meant to. You don't have the capacity. No human does. It's like the flower trying to photosynthesize without sunlight or grow without water. It can't. It will wither. It will die. Not because it's weak, not because it's failing, but because it's attempting something it was never designed to do. You were designed to receive, to draw from me, to stay connected. And when you do that, when you're rooted in me the way the flower is rooted in soil, then you can focus on what you were made to do, which is live, love, create, serve, work, rest, relate, enjoy, be fully human, be fully yourself. Not split your energy between living and worrying about whether you'll be able to keep living. Just live, because you trust that what you need will be there. But here's what I know you're thinking. Because I know you. I know how your mind works. You're thinking, but I have real responsibilities, real problems, real concerns. I can't just not worry about paying my bills. I can't just not worry about my health or my family or my job or my future. That's not realistic. That's not responsible. That's just naive optimism that ignores reality. And you're right. Sort of. You do have real responsibilities, real concerns, real things that need your attention and energy and action. I'm not asking you to ignore those. I'm not asking you to be passive or irresponsible or to just assume everything will magically work out. What I'm asking you to stop doing is this: carrying the weight of outcomes you can't control, carrying the burden of futures that haven't happened, carrying the anxiety of trying to guarantee what only I can guarantee. There's a difference between responsible planning and anxious worry. Responsible planning says, I have a bill due next week. I need to make sure I have the money. Let me look at my budget, make adjustments if needed, and take the actions I can take. Anxious worry says, what if I can't pay this bill? What if I lose my income? What if everything falls apart? What if I end up homeless? What if? Spiraling into catastrophe after catastrophe, none of which have happened, most of which never will happen. Responsible planning focuses on today, on what I can do now, on the steps I can actually take. Anxious worry focuses on tomorrow and next week and next month and next year, and every possible disaster that could happen in that time. Responsible planning acknowledges that I have some agency, some ability to influence outcomes through my choices and actions. Anxious worry believes that I have to control everything, or everything will go wrong. That if I'm not vigilant and worried and constantly planning for disaster, disaster will definitely come. The flower doesn't plan, doesn't strategize, doesn't worry, but it also doesn't need to, because the flower's responsibilities are simple. Yours aren't. I get that. But what if the principle is the same, even if the application is different? What if you could attend to your responsibilities without carrying the weight of anxiety about outcomes? What if you could plan and work and make decisions while staying rooted in me, drawing from me, trusting that I'm providing what you need for today? Here's what that might look like. You have a problem, a real problem, something that needs to be addressed. You look at it honestly. You assess what you can control and what you can't. You take the actions that are yours to take. You make the decisions that are yours to make. You do your part. And then you leave the rest with me. You release the outcome. You acknowledge that there are factors beyond your control, and you entrust those factors to me. You sleep at night, not because the problem is solved, but because you've done what you can do and you trust me with what only I can do. That's what do not worry about tomorrow means. Not don't think about tomorrow. Not don't prepare for tomorrow, but don't carry tomorrow's weight today. Today has enough challenges, enough responsibilities, enough decisions, enough work, enough life. Don't add tomorrow's weight to today's load. You only have strength for today, grace for today, capacity for today. And today's strength and grace and capacity are enough for today. They're not enough for today plus tomorrow, but they are enough for today. And here's the beautiful part. When tomorrow becomes today, you'll have tomorrow's strength, tomorrow's grace, tomorrow's capacity. It will be there. I promise you, it's always there. Not in advance, not stockpiled, not stored up for later, but available in the moment you need it. Like manna in the wilderness. You remember that story? My people were hungry. I provided manna every morning, enough for that day. And I specifically told them not to gather extra, not to hoard it for tomorrow, not to try to store it up, because tomorrow would have its own provision. And when they tried to keep extra anyway, it rotted. It went bad, because they were trying to secure tomorrow with today's provision. And that never works. Your anxiety is trying to secure tomorrow with today's resources, trying to feel safe about the future by controlling it from the present, trying to guarantee outcomes that only I can guarantee. And it's exhausting, it's depleting, it's rotting, because you're using today's energy to try to manage tomorrow's reality. And you can't. Tomorrow doesn't exist yet. It's not here yet. And when it gets here, it will be today. And today's provision will be there. The flower teaches this. Every spring, every bloom, every season. The flower doesn't bloom in fall to prepare for spring. The flower blooms in spring because it's spring, and that's when blooming happens. The flower doesn't try to live next week this week. The flower lives this week. And next week, if the flower is still here, it will live next week. You are so much more valuable than flowers, so much more loved, so much more attended to, so much more provided for. if I notice when a sparrow falls, if I number the hairs on your head, if I clothe grass that's here today and gone tomorrow, don't you think I see you? Don't you think I know what you need? Don't you think I'm committed to providing for you? The issue isn't my faithfulness. The issue is your connection, your rootedness, your trust. And I'm not saying that to condemn you. I'm saying it to free you. Because if the issue were my faithfulness, you'd be hopeless. You can't change me or control me or make me more faithful than I already am. But connection, rootedness, trust, those are things you can cultivate. Those are things you can choose. Those are things that can grow. So how do you do it? How do you become like the lily? Not by trying to stop thinking, not by trying to force yourself to not care about your problems, not by pretending everything is fine when it's not, but by practicing connection, by rooting yourself in me, by consciously, intentionally, repeatedly turning your attention to me, drawing from me, receiving from me, trusting me. It's a practice, like breathing, like eating, like sleeping, not a one-time decision, a daily, hourly, moment-by-moment choice to stay connected, to remain rooted, to keep drawing from the source. And the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes, the more automatic, the more you default to connection instead of defaulting to anxiety. The flower doesn't have to remind itself to draw from the soil. It just does. Naturally, constantly. But you have to remind yourself to draw from me, to stay connected, to receive, until it becomes natural, until it becomes constant, until it becomes who you are, a person rooted in me, drawing from me, trusting me, living from that connection instead of living from anxiety. And here's the promise. When you live like that, when you stay connected like that, you'll bloom. Not because life will be perfect, not because problems will disappear, not because you'll never face difficulty or hardship or loss, but because you'll have what you need for whatever comes. You'll be sustained, nourished, held, provided for, and you'll be free to be who you were created to be, free to live fully, love fully, work fully, rest fully. Not half living because half your energy is going to worry. Fully living, like the lily, like Solomon could have lived if he'd understood what the lily understood. Like you can live when you stay rooted in me. Look at that fire again. Still glowing, still warm, still here. That fire doesn't worry about burning out. It just burns. As long as there's fuel, it burns. And when the fuel runs out, it rests, becomes coals, becomes ash, becomes part of the earth again. The fire doesn't try to be more than fire. It doesn't try to guarantee its own continuation. It just is what it is, does what it does, and trusts that its existence, for however long it lasts, is held by something bigger than itself. You are held by something bigger than yourself, by someone who loves you more than you can comprehend, who provides for you more faithfully than you can imagine, who sees you more clearly than you see yourself, and who is inviting you right now to stop trying to be your own source, to stop trying to generate your own security, to stop trying to control outcomes you were never meant to control, and instead to root yourself in him, to draw from him, to receive from him, to trust him, to bloom fully, extravagantly, beautifully, the way the lily blooms, the way you were always meant to bloom. I need to talk to you about something you might not want to hear, not because it's harsh or condemning, but because it's going to touch a tender place, a place where you keep your shame, your secret fear that maybe you're not good enough, not faithful enough, not strong enough, the place where you wonder if your anxiety means something is fundamentally wrong with you. You've been thinking it, haven't you? Maybe not in those exact words, maybe not consciously all the time, but it's there, that quiet voice, that persistent whisper. If you really trusted God, you wouldn't feel this way. If you really had faith, you wouldn't be so anxious. Other people seem to have peace. Other people seem to handle things better. Other people don't fall apart like you do. What's wrong with you? Why can't you just trust? Why can't you just have faith? Why can't you just believe? And that voice, that shame, that comparison, it's almost worse than the anxiety itself, because now you're not just anxious about your circumstances. You're anxious about being anxious. You're worried about worrying. You're afraid that your fear means something terrible about who you are, about your relationship with me, about whether you're really mine at all. Let me be very clear about something. Achingly clear as I know how to be. Your anxiety does not mean you have weak faith. Your anxiety does not mean you're failing spiritually. Your anxiety does not mean you're disappointing me. Your anxiety does not disqualify you from my love, my presence, my peace, or my purpose for your life. I'm going to say that again because I know you didn't fully hear it the first time. Your anxiety does not disqualify you from anything I have for you. Nothing. Not one single thing. You are not less loved because you're anxious. You are not less chosen because you struggle. You are not less mine because your faith feels small right now. Do you know who had anxiety? Peter. Bold, impulsive, jump out of the boat Peter. The one who walked on water. The one who declared, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. The one I chose to build my church on." That Peter. He had massive anxiety, crippling anxiety. The night I was arrested, he was so anxious that he denied even knowing me. 3 times. 2. A servant girl. Someone with no power to harm him. But his anxiety was so strong, his fear so overwhelming, that he couldn't even admit he was associated with me. And what did I do with that? Did I reject him? Did I shame him? Did I tell him his anxiety proved he never really had faith? No. I restored him. Gently. Lovingly. I met him on the beach after the resurrection, and I asked him 3 times, "Do you love me?" Giving him 3 chances to say yes. 3 chances to counter the 3 denials. 3 chances to know he was still mine, still chosen, still loved, still called. His anxiety didn't disqualify him. It qualified him for my compassion. Or what about Elijah? Mighty prophet Elijah. Called down fire from heaven Elijah. Confronted 450 prophets of Baal alone Elijah. That guy had faith, right? Incredible, mountain-moving faith. And yet, right after his greatest victory, he ran away into the wilderness and sat under a tree and asked to die. He was so anxious, so depressed, so overwhelmed that he wanted to give up entirely. Couldn't see the point of going on. Couldn't find hope. Couldn't access the faith he'd demonstrated just days before. And how did God respond to him? Did God say, "Come on, Elijah, where's your faith? You just called down fire from heaven. Why are you falling apart now?" No. God let him sleep, sent an angel with food, fed him, rested him, spoke to him in a gentle whisper, not in earthquake or wind or fire, in gentleness, in kindness, in compassion, for a man who was running on empty and couldn't hold it together anymore. Or what about the father who brought his son to me for healing? Do you remember what he said? "I believe. Help my unbelief." I believe and I doubt at the same time. I have faith and I'm terrified at the same time. I'm trusting you and I'm not sure I can trust you at the same time. Both things existing simultaneously. And you know what I did? I healed his son. Right then. Didn't make him wait until he had perfect faith. Didn't require him to resolve his doubt before I would act. Met him right where he was, in his messy, complicated, faith and fear mixed together state. That's the pattern. Over and over, throughout Scripture, throughout history, throughout every interaction I've ever had with anxious humans. I don't wait for perfect faith. I don't require complete calm. I don't demand that you get yourself together before I'll help you. I meet you in your anxiety, in your fear, in your doubt, in your mess. That's where I do my best work. Not with the people who have it all figured out, with the people who are falling apart and know it. You know what the difference is between anxiety and lack of faith? Nothing. There is no difference, because they're not the same category of thing. Anxiety is a feeling, faith is a choice, and you can have both at the same time. You can feel absolutely terrified and still choose to trust. You can have a racing heart and a quiet spirit simultaneously. You can be shaking on the outside and anchored on the inside. The feeling doesn't negate the choice. The fear doesn't cancel the faith. Think about it this way. If faith meant having no fear, then faith would only be possible in easy circumstances. When everything is going well and there's nothing to be afraid of, you don't need faith. You have evidence. You have certainty. You have visible proof that everything is fine. Faith is only required when things are hard, when outcomes are uncertain, when you can't see how it's going to work out, when you're afraid. That's when faith has the opportunity to be faith. So if you're anxious right now, you're not demonstrating weak faith. You're demonstrating the exact conditions in which real faith operates. You're in uncertain circumstances. You're facing things that scare you. You can't control the outcome. You don't know how it's going to turn out. And in the middle of all that, you're still here, still reaching for me, still showing up, still choosing, underneath all the fear, to trust that I'm real and I'm good and I'm with you. That's not weak faith. That's extraordinary faith. The people who look like they have strong faith, the ones who seem so peaceful and unshakable and certain. I'm not minimizing their faith. I'm not saying it's fake, but I am saying you don't know what's happening inside them. You don't know what they struggle with privately. You don't know what demons they fight when no one's watching. And I am saying that calm circumstances don't require the same level of faith that crisis circumstances do. It's easy to trust when everything is working out. It's hard to trust when everything feels like it's falling apart. And hard trust is deeper trust, more real trust, more valuable trust. You've been comparing your insides to other people's outsides, your messy, anxious, chaotic internal experience to their calm, composed, put-together external presentation. And that comparison is killing you, making you feel like you're the only one who struggles, the only one who can't get it together, the only one whose faith isn't strong enough. But it's a lie, a complete lie. Everyone is fighting battles you can't see. Everyone has anxiety about something. Everyone has moments where their faith feels impossibly small and their fear feels overwhelmingly big. The difference isn't that some people don't experience anxiety. The difference is that some people have learned to stop being ashamed of it. They've learned to be honest about it, to name it, to bring it into the light instead of hiding it in the dark where shame grows. And that honesty, that vulnerability, that willingness to say, I'm struggling and that's okay, that actually deepens faith, because it acknowledges reality. And faith can't grow in denial. Faith grows in truth. So let's be truthful. You're anxious, really anxious. Maybe more anxious than you've ever been. Maybe anxious in ways that surprise you, ways that don't make logical sense, ways that feel disproportionate to the actual threats you're facing. And that anxiety is exhausting. It's depleting. It's making everything harder, making you question yourself, making you wonder if something is deeply wrong with you. But here's the truth underneath that anxiety. The truth your anxiety is trying to obscure. You are beloved, completely, unconditionally, unchangingly. Your anxiety doesn't change that, can't change that, will never change that. I loved you before you were anxious. I love you while you're anxious. I will love you after the anxiety passes. My love is not dependent on your emotional state. It's not conditional on your capacity to remain calm. It's not earned by your ability to trust perfectly. You want to know what disqualifies someone from my love? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. There is nothing you can do, no way you can fail, no struggle you can have, no anxiety you can experience that will make me love you less. My love is not a response to your performance. It's a decision, a commitment, an unchangeable reality. You are mine, I am yours. That's settled, done, permanent. Your anxiety cannot undo it. And more than that, your anxiety doesn't push me away. It draws my compassion. When I see you anxious, I don't feel disappointed. I feel tenderness, the same way you would feel toward a child who's afraid of the dark. You don't think less of the child for being afraid. You don't shame the child for not being braver. You feel compassion. You want to comfort. You want to help. You want to be present with them in their fear until they feel safe again. That's how I feel about you. Not parental condescension, but genuine compassion, empathy, understanding, the desire to be with you in this until you find your way through. I know what anxiety feels like. Remember? I told you about Gethsemane. The night before my crucifixion, I was so anxious that I sweat drops of blood. That's a real medical condition, by the way. Hematidrosis. It happens when someone is under such extreme stress that the blood vessels near the sweat glands rupture. I was literally so anxious that I was bleeding from my pores. And I was the Son of God, fully divine, completely sinless, perfect faith. And still, anxiety so intense it manifested physically. So when I say I understand your anxiety, I'm not speaking theoretically. I'm speaking from experience. I know the racing heart, the tight chest, the spiraling thoughts, the catastrophic imagination, the desperate prayers for escape. I know what it's like when your body is screaming danger and your mind can't shut it off and you're caught in this horrible loop of fear, feeding fear, feeding fear. I know. And I didn't experience that, so I could judge you for experiencing it. I experienced it so I could be with you in it, so you would know you're not alone, so you would know that even in your most anxious moments, I understand. I've been there, and I made it through, and you will too. The question isn't whether you have enough faith to not feel anxious. The question is whether you have enough faith to feel anxious and still choose me, to be afraid and still show up, to doubt and still reach out, to fall apart and still believe that I'm putting you back together. That's the faith I'm looking for. Not perfect trust, not unshakable confidence, not calm in the storm, just the willingness to stay, to not run from me because you're ashamed of your struggle, to bring your anxiety to me instead of hiding it from me, to let me be present with you in it instead of trying to resolve it before you'll come to me. You know what the opposite of faith is? It's not doubt, it's not fear, it's not anxiety. The opposite of faith is self-reliance. It's the belief that you have to handle everything yourself, that you can't need help, that you should be strong enough, smart enough, faithful enough to manage on your own. That's what keeps people from me. Not anxiety, not struggle, not even doubt, self-sufficiency, the pride that says I've got this when you really don't, the fear of being weak that keeps you from admitting you need help. Your anxiety is the opposite of that. Your anxiety is your body and mind screaming, I can't do this alone. And you know what? You're right. You can't. You were never meant to. I designed you to need me, to depend on me, to draw from me. Your anxiety isn't revealing a flaw in your faith. It's revealing the truth of your humanity. You're not God. You're not self-sufficient. You're not meant to carry this alone. And the moment you can accept that, the moment you can stop being ashamed of needing help, that's the moment real faith becomes possible. So no more shame. No more comparing yourself to people who seem to have it together. No more beating yourself up for being anxious. No more wondering if your struggle means you're not really mine. You are mine. Anxiety and all, doubt and all, fear and all, mess and all. You are completely, utterly, permanently mine. and I am not going anywhere. Your anxiety doesn't determine your worth. I determine your worth. And I say you are priceless, irreplaceable, beloved beyond measure. Your anxiety doesn't determine your identity. I determine your identity. And I say you are mine, my child, my beloved, my treasure. Your anxiety doesn't determine your future. I determine your future. And I say it is good. It is hopeful. It is held securely in my hands. Feel your anxiety. Acknowledge it. Be honest about it. But don't let it be the final word. Don't let it be the truest thing. Don't let it define you, because it's not who you are. It's what you're experiencing right now. And right now is not forever. This anxiety will pass. This night will end. This storm will calm. And when it does, you'll still be you. Still be mine. Still be loved. Still be held. Still be safe. And in the meantime, in the middle of the anxiety, in the thick of the fear, I'm here, not waiting for you to get better before I'll show up. Here now, present now, with you now, in your anxiety, in your doubt, in your fear, not ashamed of you, not disappointed in you, not wishing you were different, just here, loving you exactly as you are, holding you exactly where you are, speaking peace over you exactly as you are right now. You are stronger than you think, more faithful than you feel, more loved than you can possibly comprehend. And your anxiety, as loud as it is, as strong as it feels, as overwhelming as it seems, it is not stronger than my love for you. It's not stronger than my commitment to you. It's not stronger than my power to sustain you. It's just not. Your anxiety feels like everything right now, but I am bigger than everything, and I've got you. The fire is lower now, mostly coals, still warm, still glowing, but quieter, gentler. The flames have done their work, and now it's just this steady heat, this reliable warmth, this constant presence that doesn't need to be dramatic to be real. That's what I want for you now. Not dramatic change, not sudden transformation, just this quiet, steady presence, this reliable warmth, this knowing that I'm here, and I'm not leaving. You've been carrying so much, for so long, and I want you to know, you can put it down now. You really can. I know you're not sure how. I know it feels like if you stop managing everything, stop controlling everything, stop worrying about everything, then everything will fall apart. But it won't. Because I'm holding it. I'm holding all of it. And I'm holding you. So let's try something. Just for tonight. Just for right now. I want you to give me permission to carry what you've been carrying. Not forever. Not even for tomorrow. Just for tonight. Just while you rest. Can you do that? Can you trust me with it for just these next few hours while you sleep? Your job. I've got it. Whatever you're worried about with work, whatever deadlines or expectations or conflicts or uncertainties, I've got it. You can rest from thinking about it tonight. It will still be there tomorrow if you need to attend to it. But tonight, it's mine. I'm carrying it. You don't have to. Your relationships. I've got them. Whatever you're worried about with the people you love, whatever tensions or misunderstandings or distances or hurts, I've got it. I know how to heal relationships. I know how to soften hearts. I know how to bring reconciliation. And tonight, while you sleep, I can work on hearts in ways you never could while awake. So, rest. Let me tend to the people you love. Let me work in ways you can't. Your health, I've got it. Whatever you're worried about with your body, whatever symptoms or fears or unknowns or vulnerabilities, I've got it. I made your body. I know every cell, every system, every intricate detail of how you're designed, and I'm tending to it, healing what needs healing, sustaining what needs sustaining. You can rest from monitoring it tonight, from analyzing it, from catastrophizing about it. Just rest. Let your body do what bodies do when they sleep. Restore, repair, renew. I'm watching over that process. Your finances, I've got them. Whatever you're worried about with money, whatever bills or debts or uncertainties or futures, I've got it. I fed 5,000 people with 5 loaves and 2 fish. I think I can handle your budget. I think I can provide what you need. So rest from calculating tonight. Rest from worrying about what might run out or fall short. I'm your provider, not your bank account, not your job, not your investments. Me. And I don't run out. Your future. I've got it. Whatever you're worried about with what's coming, whatever unknowns or possibilities or changes or fears, I've got it. I already know how your story unfolds. I already see what you can't see yet. And I'm already there, in your future, preparing the way, making provision, going before you. You don't have to figure it all out tonight. You don't have to have answers for things that haven't happened yet. You just have to rest and let me handle tomorrow when tomorrow comes. Everything you've been holding, everything you've been managing, everything you've been trying to control or predict or prevent or prepare for. I want you to imagine gathering it all up. All those worries, all those fears, all those what ifs, all those responsibilities, all those burdens. Imagine them in your arms. You're holding them all. They're heavy. So heavy. You've been holding them for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to not hold them. Now, imagine opening your arms, just opening them, and letting it all fall, letting it all drop, not into a void, into my hands. I'm right here, right in front of you, hands open, ready, strong, and I can hold what you can't hold. I can carry what's too heavy for you. So let go. Just let go. Open your hands, open your arms, and let me take it. Feel that? That lightness? That space where the weight was? That's rest. That's what it feels like to not carry everything. And I know it's unfamiliar. I know it might even feel wrong, like you're being irresponsible, like you're abandoning your duties, but you're not. You're just letting me be God. You're just letting me do what only I can do, which is hold the universe together, including your part of it. Now, I want you to lie down. Actually, lie down. Get comfortable. Let your body settle into whatever surface you're on. Bed, couch, floor. Wherever you are, let yourself be held by it. Feel the support beneath you. You don't have to hold yourself up. Something else is doing that. The ground, the furniture, the earth itself. You can just be held. And as you lie there, I want you to notice your breath again. Not to control it, not to change it, just to notice it. In and out, steady, reliable, automatic. You don't have to think about breathing. You don't have to manage it. Your body knows how. It's been breathing since the moment you were born. It will keep breathing while you sleep. You can trust it. That's what I want you to understand about rest. You don't have to manage it. You don't have to make it happen. You just have to let it happen. Stop trying. Stop striving. Stop controlling. Just let go. Let your body do what it knows how to do. Let your mind quiet. Let your heart settle. Let sleep come in its own time. You don't have to force it. You don't have to perform it. You just have to allow it. And while you're allowing it, while you're settling into rest, I want you to know what I'm doing. I'm staying awake. I'm keeping watch. I'm tending this fire. I'm watching these stars. I'm listening to this mountain. I'm praying over you. I'm speaking peace over your sleep. I'm guarding your heart and mind. I'm holding everything you release to me. I'm standing watch over your life. You can rest. Because I'm not resting, you can sleep. Because I'm not sleeping, you can let go. Because I'm holding on. Do you remember the Psalm? He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. That's me. I don't get tired. I don't need sleep. I don't drift off or lose focus or forget what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm always awake, always alert, always watching, always present. so you can sleep deeply, completely, without fear. Because I've got this. I've got you. As you drift off, I'm going to speak some things over you. Some blessings, some truths, some promises. You don't have to stay awake to hear them. In fact, I'd rather you didn't. I'd rather these words sink into your subconscious, into your spirit, into that deep place where anxiety can't reach. So don't fight sleep. Let it come, and let these words go with you into sleep. I bless your sleep tonight. I speak rest over your body. Deep rest, restorative rest, healing rest. The kind of rest that knits bones and heals wounds and renews strength. Let your body repair itself tonight. Let every cell do its work. Let every system recalibrate. Let your whole physical being be restored. I bless your dreams tonight. I speak peace over your subconscious mind. Gentle dreams, healing dreams. Or no dreams at all if that's what you need. But no nightmares, no anxiety dreams, no rehearsing fears in your sleep. Tonight your mind rests too. It doesn't have to solve problems while you sleep. It doesn't have to process trauma. It doesn't have to work. It can just rest, just drift, just be quiet. I bless your heart tonight. I speak stillness over your emotions, whatever you're feeling. Fear, anxiety, sadness, anger, confusion. It can quiet now. It can settle. Not because you're suppressing it, not because you're denying it, but because you're releasing it to me. And I can hold it better than you can. So let your heart be still. Let it beat steady and slow. Let it rest in the knowledge that you are loved. Completely. No matter what. I bless your tomorrow. I speak provision over your future. Whatever tomorrow holds, it also holds my grace, my strength, my presence, my provision. You don't know what's coming, but I do. And I've already prepared the way. I've already gone ahead of you. I've already made arrangements. So tomorrow, when it comes, when you wake up and face it, you will have what you need. I promise you that. I promise you. I bless this very moment, right now. I speak my presence over this space, this room, this mountain, this night. I am here, fully here, completely here. More real than the darkness, more present than your anxiety, more constant than your fear. I am here, and I am good, and I love you, and you are safe. Let go a little more. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let your hands open. Let your breathing deepen. Let your thoughts slow. Let your mind wander where it wants to wander. You don't have to direct it. You don't have to manage it. Just let it drift, like a boat on calm water. Just drifting, aimless, peaceful, safe. The fire is almost out now. Just embers. Just this soft red glow in the darkness. But still warm, still here, still faithful. It doesn't need to be bright to be real. It doesn't need to be dramatic to be effective. It just needs to be. And it is. And so am I. You might not feel my presence dramatically right now. You might not have some overwhelming spiritual experience, but I'm here, quietly, steadily, faithfully, like these embers, still burning, still warm, still true. You're so tired. I can see it. I can feel it. The exhaustion in your bones, the weariness in your soul, the depletion of every resource. You've been running on empty for so long, but you can stop running now. You can stop pushing, stop forcing, stop striving. You've done enough. You've tried enough. You've worked hard enough. Now you can rest. You've earned this rest. Not because rest has to be earned, but because you've been faithful. You've shown up. You've kept going. And now you get to stop. I'm so proud of you. I want you to hear that. I'm proud of you. Not for being perfect. Not for having it all together. Not for managing your anxiety flawlessly. I'm proud of you for being here. For reaching for me. for not giving up, for showing up even when showing up felt impossible, for choosing connection over isolation, for choosing honesty over pretense, for being willing to be weak, to be needy, to be human. That takes courage, real courage, and I see it, and I honor it, and I'm proud of you. So sleep now, really sleep. Don't fight it anymore. Don't try to stay vigilant. Don't try to keep watch. That's my job, and I'm very good at it. I've been doing it for eternity. I think I can handle one night. I think I can watch over you while you sleep. In fact, I want to. It's not a burden to me. It's a joy. Watching over you, tending to you, caring for you. It's what I love to do. When you wake up tomorrow, I'll still be here. Right here. Same place. Same presence. Same love. Same faithfulness. The night will have passed, but I will not have passed. Your anxiety might still be there, or it might be lighter, or it might be gone. I can't promise which, but I can promise that whatever you wake up to, you'll wake up to it with me. Not alone. Never alone. Always, always with me. And between now and then, between this moment and that moment, you get to rest. Truly rest. Not half rest while you monitor everything. Not pretend rest while your mind races. Real rest. Deep rest. The kind of rest that only comes from knowing you're safe, you're loved, you're held, you're watched over, you're mine. So close your eyes. Let them stay closed. Let the weight of your eyelids be heavy. Let them be so heavy you couldn't open them even if you wanted to. Let the darkness behind your eyelids be soft, welcoming, safe. Not the darkness you fear, but the darkness that holds rest, that cradles sleep, that makes space for dreams. Breathe slowly now, so slowly, each breath a little longer, a little deeper, a little more settled. Each exhale releasing a little more tension, a little more control, a little more fear. Just releasing, just letting go, just allowing yourself to sink into this moment, this bed, this rest, this peace. I'm here. I'll be here all night. I'm not leaving. I'm not sleeping. I'm not distracted. I'm focused on you, watching over you, praying over you, speaking peace over you, guarding you, protecting you, holding you. You are completely safe, completely loved, completely mine. Rest now. Sleep now. Let go now. I've got this. I've got you. And I'm not letting go. Good night, beloved. Sleep well. Sleep deep. Sleep safe. I'll be right here when you wake. I'll be right here all night. I'm not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. We're here, together, safe, held, loved, at peace. Rest. Just rest. I'm watching, and all is well.